For those of you who have been around me for any amount of time, you will know that I'm a huge Lakers fan. Majority of my wardrobe is Lakers. I have 4 Lakers jerseys up at the moment. I have a Lakers LeBron poster up. I have a Lakers light, which I'm using for lighting for this. Lakers shelf. And I mean, like, I'm just a huge Lakers fan. I watch every single game. I go back and I watch previous games, like previous playoff runs, reliving the glory days from when I wasn't even around. But yeah, I'm a huge Lakers fan, and if you have followed the Lakers for the last couple of years, really since their ring in 2020, they've kind of gone on a very similar cycle. They start the season quite hot. They start the season where they kind of get people thinking, are the Lakers contenders? They do better than expected, and I fall into that trap every year of being like, oh my goodness, we're gonna push for a ring. And then you kind of get around to that December, January time, and the Lakers not fall off a cliff, but they certainly tread back. I mean, you used to get this with a lot of Anthony Davis's. His body used to break down at this time of the year. LeBron, he's getting old, so he used to track back a bit as well and stuff like that. So you kind of have this January period where the Lakers certainly aren't as strong as they normally are. So you kind of get that. Obviously, the Luka trade happened last year, and that's changed the trajectory of this team a whole lot. But we still seem to have had this period here. The Lakers started off really well. Even though they lost their first game to Golden State, after that they kind of were pushing without LeBron. You had Austin Reeves, who's having a career year, even though he's been out for a while now. When he comes back, I still expect him to being putting out at that level that he has been. And then you have Luka Doncic just having a great year. He's leading the league in scoring. Luka Doncic's stock, though, is a bit interesting this year. It seems to be at an all-time low, and that is because he's on the Lakers. I mean, Luka Doncic has been known his whole career to not be a great defender. He's tends to complain to the refs, and he does that a lot. And just because he's in the Lakers this season and he's in that huge spotlight, and the general consensus on the Lakers is people don't really like him. They don't always want them to succeed. I mean, the Lakers are a huge franchise. They tend to be a bandwagon franchise, which I'm not. I'm not a bandwagon. But anyway, because the Lakers are such a big team, Luka Doncic being under this light and this pressure, I guess, he's kind of gotten a lot of criticism from the media. And Lakers fans aren't used to having a player that isn't really big on the defensive side. I mean, you look at LeBron, he's been above positive defender his whole career. He still is at his age. And you got Anthony Davis, who was a great defender as well. Before that, Kobe was certainly a good defender. Then you go back to that Shaq, great defender. You go Magic Johnson, very good defender. Like Kareem, good defender. Wilt, good. Like you look at all the Lakers' previous stars and a lot of their big players, they have been good defenders. So Lakers are used to their stars having that big impact on both sides of the ball. But because Luka carries such a big load offensively, he isn't carrying that much of a load defensively. And I think there's been times where he's been good. I don't like the complaining to the refs. But I mean, Luka is having a great season, and it isn't talked about as much because he's in a purple and gold jersey this year. Editing room in here, it is 1:20 in the morning. I'm editing this video, and I've kind of clocked the fact that it changed. Like, I know that a couple of lights went out halfway through, and I didn't realize how big of a difference it made. So, I did notice the change in colour. Let's just say it was for effect. The Lakers, when they pick it back up in February, they kind of don't make any moves, except for, I mean, last year you have the Luka Doncic trade that kind of tipped the NBA in its head. But apart from that, the Lakers tend to not really make a big move. They kind of ride it into the playoffs, and they're a first and second round exit. But what are the Lakers' issues, I guess? What is really going on? And I mean, all it takes is a quick look into their advanced stats or watching a couple games, and you kind of see it. So for the Lakers, they have a 116.7 offensive rating. That puts them ninth in the league. So good offense, like a top 10 offense, is usually what you see out of like a contending team. But what's bad about the Lakers? Well, you look at their defensive rating. It's an 117.6 defensive rating. That puts them 26th in the league. So quite contrasting offense and defense. Certainly nothing that you will see from a contending type team. That gives them a negative 0.7 net rating as well. That sits them 17th. So they're below average in net rating, and a negative net rating is not something you will see from a championship caliber team ever. Like, you can't have a net negative and be constantly winning basketball games and constantly playing at a high level across the board. The Lakers' assist-to-turnover ratio is also bottom 5 in the league, and they're shooting 34.3% from 3, which puts them in 24th. If you've watched Lakers for the last couple of years, you know that they're never a good three-point shooting team. Even with Luka added to this roster and Reeves shooting the ball well, the Lakers, they shoot a decent amount of threes, but they don't shoot them well enough to be competing, at least in the modern landscape of basketball. They have a 25-16 record as of recording this video. They do play the Denver Nuggets tomorrow. The Denver Nuggets still don't really have many players back, so I hope the Lakers win. It should be a good game. But this is the day after the Lakers are 26-16 now. They beat the Denver Nuggets, came back down from 16 points. Should never have been 16 points down against that Denver team, but came back, got a good win. So 26-16, and Lakers are sitting 5th in the Western Conference. Like I said, the Lakers have a great offense. Luka is leading the league in scoring. Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves are all in above 24 points per game in what they're averaging. So you're getting high level of scoring from your top end players. Luka is leading the league in scoring. He's doing great. Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves are also leading the Lakers in assists. Luka is top 5 in assists per game in the NBA this year. So he's generating offense and he's playing good, but that defense is really where you see the Lakers kind of fall off a cliff, is a nice way of putting it. You also see another issue when you compare their bench units to their starting unit. So, I mean, the Lakers' most common starting unit for this part, and unless the Lakers make moves, is you're looking at Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, LeBron James, Rui Hachimura, and DeAndre Ayton. Certainly a good offensive lineup. I think Ayton has been good offensively. I still think he leaves a bit to be desired on the defensive side of the ball, but look, for a player that is where he is in his career, I've been happy with it. Say what you want. I know that some people aren't happy with him. I certainly want a more defensive center in this roster, but beggars can't be choosers. But yeah, and then their bench unit consists of Jake LaRavia, Marcus Smart. You got Jackson Hayes, Dalton Connect, Gabe Vincent when he's healthy, and you got Jared Vanderbilt, who's made his way back into the rotation the last month or so. He was out at the start, but he's kind of earned that spot, and he's been shooting the ball quite well, actually, quite surprisingly. It's kind of dropped off a little bit lately, but I've been happy with him. But yeah, that's their rough bench unit, I guess. And when you look at those advanced analytics again, the Lakers have a top 5 offensive rating in starting unit alone. So very, very good starting unit offense. But they are they're last in defensive rating for their starting unit. So very much contrast there. Top 5, 30th. That's bad. That's certainly not good. So when you compare it to that bench unit, you kind of get a bit of a flip. So the Lakers bench unit is bottom 6 in offense, so not generating a whole lot of offense. There have been so many games, especially as of late, when you get those little things, like the little stats, I guess, flicked up at the bottom of the screen, and it's like, Lakers bench, 6 points. And you can tell, as soon as that bench unit comes out, offense isn't being generated. When Luka and LeBron are on the court, it just, the bench can't do anything, really. And then defensively, though, it is a top 8 defense bench unit wise. I know that certainly doesn't matter as much because the bench unit isn't out there as much as your starting unit, but it shows that there are some good defense. There is some good defense. I mean, Jared Vanderbilt is a positive defender. I think Marcus Smart this year has been good. Obviously, he's coming off a couple of very injury-prone years, and he certainly isn't at the level of his Defensive Player of the Year when he was in Boston. But I think Marcus Smart has been a good defender, and I've liked the hustle and the effort that he kind of sets out on the court with. He comes out with that aggressiveness and that hustle that I'd really like to see. He's also offensively, he's been he shoots the ball a lot. He'll give you some nights where he goes 7 from 3, and then he'll shoot the ball 6 times the next game and go 0 from 6 from 3. So offensively inconsistent, but defensively he has been great this year in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, when you look at the defensive side of things, I guess 4 out of the last 6 of the NBA champions have been top 3 in defensive rating. So that kind of shows you the emphasis that is on defense in the NBA at the moment. It's how important it is to defend at that level and defend well. Since 2021, the Bucks championship post that, NBA champions have been an average top 5 in 3-point percentage in the league, with especially lately, like the 3-point importance cannot be overstated. It is a very important shot. A lot of, you kind of, even from your big men, you see Andre Drummond, he's developed a 3-point, and that's going to probably extend his career a little bit. Like, he's not great, but it's gotten better. And it's almost like every player needs to have a 3-point shot to be effective in the NBA game for spacing and just in general how important that is. So the Lakers need to certainly pick that aspect of things up. As well as Lakers 3-point shooting, teams shoot quite well against the Lakers. Teams average 20.5 points off of turnovers against the Lakers. That's the third most in the NBA, so they give up a lot. Like, Luka historically has given a bit of turnovers. LeBron gives a few turnovers up. But the Lakers as a team turn the ball over a lot. And teams shoot well against the Lakers as well. So teams on average shoot roughly 38% against the Lakers. That's a second highest in the league. So Lakers can't shoot the 3-ball well, and they can't guard it well. So that's a recipe for a losing basketball team, if we're being honest. And that pains for me to say that because I want the Lakers to succeed. I love the Lakers. I love watching the Lakers play. But it's hard when your team can't shoot perimeter-wise well and can't guard it well. It's two very contrasting things. The Lakers are also bottom 3 in shot contests in general, so they're not getting out to those shots there. They're not getting that hustle back in general, so you're getting teams getting a lot more open looks, a lot more easy looks, which creates a lot more points against the Lakers in 4. But what should the Lakers do? While there has been some rumours of some stars being available for trade, I don't think it's worth it for the Lakers to gut their roster. I'm in the camp that is, well, not that there's a market for LeBron, but don't trade LeBron. I don't want to have to buy new jerseys personally, but I just don't think there's a market for him anyway, and I don't think we should trade Austin Reeves. I know there's been like Gilbert Arenas has been like, trade Austin Reeves for Dylan Brooks. I don't, not that Dylan Brooks is on the market, the Phoenix Suns GM or someone high up in Phoenix was like, don't even bother trying. And I get that. As much as a player like Dylan Brooks is a agitator, and I don't like his off-court antics, and I don't really like how I like LeBron. I don't like how he goes after LeBron and stuff like that. I think that Marcus Smart is a plenty skillful player, and he doesn't need that in his game. I think that Dylan Brooks offensively has been great this year, and defensively he's been good. He's a good defender. There's a reason why teams want him. And I think he'd be a great piece on the Lakers, but I certainly don't think he's available for anything the Lakers have to offer. Obviously, Luka's not going to get traded as well. And so the Lakers don't have a lot of pieces, but even if a trade for another star would be there, I wouldn't gut a roster for it. I think a team like what OKC have done and what Boston have done shows you that you don't need that top-heavy roster. You need a roster that has pieces that can give you minutes every night and give you solid minutes, and on any night step up and be that game-winning player. You saw that in OKC's run. They had multiple players step up at different times in big moments, and I think every roster needs a group of 9 or 10 players that can not give you the same level. Obviously, you're not going to get your number 1 player on your roster giving you your same as your number 10. That's not reasonable. But I think you just really need that consistency and that solid roster all around to really win basketball games and win championships. So I think the Lakers still need to make moves around the edges. I think they should be looking at a starting 3 or a 4, really, that is more defensive-minded and more defensive impact, as well as potentially another shooting guard and a center as well, whether that be a new starting center or a center coming off the bench. A team that intrigues me for pieces for the Lakers is the New Orleans Pelicans. I know that the Pelicans have been talked about a lot with players, the 2 players that I like is, especially for the Lakers, is Herb Jones and Trey Murphy III. I know that the Pelicans have been refusing to talk, but I think there is a price, and I don't think that they'll be that unreasonable. I think the closer you get to that trade deadline, I think the more willing they're going to be to talk. Fingers crossed. But yeah, out of those 2 options, Trey Murphy, he's a better scorer. He shoots the ball a little bit better. I believe he's shooting roughly 39% at the moment. And he's shown those glimpses of being that really offensive generating player, and he stepped up, especially with Zion being so inconsistent in his availability this year. Trey Murphy, while the Pelicans haven't been winning games, they've been pretty bad. I think that Trey Murphy has shown his potential offensively, but inherently he's going to be more expensive. He's a good defender as well. He can guard the 1 through 4 really. Like he's got a good wingspan on him. He's really good perimeter wise, so he's going to be quite pricey, and I don't think the Lakers can really afford to go for him. That's why I'd be looking more towards Herb Jones. I mean, Herb Jones has gotten Defensive Player of the Year votes previously. He's made an all-defensive team. He is an above-average shooter as well. He's shooting around your 35%, and he shoots well from the corners. And with players like Luka generating a lot of corner 3 looks, he'd be a great player to have offensively. But defensively, him slotting into that 3 spot, move LeBron over to the 4, you either would probably have to trade Rui, or if you just move Rui to the bench, I think that makes that Lakers starting lineup that more defensive. And I think Trey Murphy really just brings up that spot. He's that player that you want guarding the other team's best player, unless you're coming up against like a Jokic who is going to need a bit more than the Trey Murphy. I think that Trey Murphy is very good at being that point of attack defender, and I'd love to see him in a purple jersey coming up soon. The interesting thing with that though is what kind of package the offers do. The offers. The interesting thing with the Trey Murphy trade. The interesting thing with talking with the Pelicans and talking with any team really is what do the Lakers really have to offer. I still think you only got 3 players that are untouchable for me. I have LeBron, Luka, and Reeves. The Lakers have basically Dalton Connect, Rui Hachimura, a couple picks, Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, anyone really that isn't that main 3. I'd be willing to trade. The second option for the Lakers is Keon Ellis. Sacramento, in all honesty, the last couple of years, I haven't been watching a lot of Sacramento basketball. Ever since they had that run with De'Aaron Fox at the helm where they got into the playoffs for the first time in a long time, and they were able to make that Warriors series quite exciting, really. After that, I haven't really been paying that much attention. I have been keeping an eye on Keon Ellis, though. Keon Ellis is a shooting guard. He hasn't really made his space in this new rotation with the way that Sacramento is being run at the moment, which I think is surprising because I think he's proven he's a very good defender. He can't really guard as versatilely as Herb Jones, but he's certainly a very good defender. He shoots 40% from 3 as well. That's great. That's what the Lakers need. They need a really good 3-point shooter to add to that roster and another good defender. Keon Ellis would likely be coming off the bench, but he's another one of those where if you're in crunch time and you need a defender, that's who I want on the court. His hustle's there, his shooting's there, so he can get those looks. He can get those looks generated off Luka, off LeBron, off Austin. So the way that the Lakers play that offense, they can get him good looks, and he'd be just a very good defender to have. A third main option, and the Lakers have been linked to him a bit actually over the last 2 years, is Robert Williams III. He's playing out in Portland at the moment ever since he got traded there from the Celtics, but I think he's a good rim running big and he's a good shot blocking big. He's good in that key. I think he'd certainly bring up the Lakers defense and deter some of that offense from coming down the lane. I think that he's certainly good on the defensive side of the ball. I think he's passable offensively. Luka likes that rim running big. He's shown that in Dallas, that players like that, they look better around him. And Austin Reeves has shown as well that he likes playing off a big like that can draw that attention in so he can get those mid-range looks, those threes, but also get those lobs up to a big man or those passes off to him that helps Robert Williams out as well. So I think Robert Williams is a good third potential option. Obviously, the Lakers aren't going to be able to make all 3 of these trades, and I just think that these are some good options. A bit more pricey option as well. You got a player like Andrew Wiggins, who's a good defender. I don't really want to be relying on him offensively. He can certainly give you good offense, but I don't think he's at that level where he had the All-Star starting appearance when he was at the Warriors, which I don't think he really deserved. But I think that he is a good enough offensive player that he can keep that up, and he's also been good defensively, at least this year. I haven't watched a lot of Miami, but his advanced analytics and his general consensus is that he is a positive defender. So if the Lakers could look for a player like him, if these other players aren't available, because have hit a very similar spot. They're certainly not spiraling. Austin Reeves is back soon, and who knows, that could propel the Lakers up, but I still think that they are a couple of key defensive pieces away from being able to contend for a championship. And I believe that they can do that this season. I just think it's how, when they make those moves. I think that these moves are crucial, and I think the Lakers would be silly not to try and pursue any options. But yeah, while I don't think a blockbuster trade is on the horizon for the Lakers, I certainly think you should be keeping an eye out for a couple moves, especially heading up to this All-Star break and as well as this trade deadline. I think the Lakers are gonna try to be active and see what they can do. But yeah, this is my setup for the video. So, like I said, Lakers light. My jerseys, and then the Barrington TV with the white. That's my setup for this video, so not as good as it was previously, but it's not. Speaker box.